Stop, look at me now. Do not scroll, because if you have, welcome to Legacy Coin USA. Think that old coin in your drawer is worth millions? Let's find out the truth. I'm here to give you honest, no-hype facts about what your coins are really worth. No clickbait, just real market values and expert insight. We'll explore genuine rarities, spot authentic errors, and separate the myths from the money. If you want the truth about coins, you're in the right place. Hit subscribe and let's uncover real value together. Welcome to Legacy Coin USA, where we keep it honest. Coin number 1. The 1971 new Pence 2p coin you're referring to is not worth millions of dollars. This is a common misconception that circulates on social media and YouTube, often designed to generate clicks and engagement rather than provide factual information. The vast majority of 1971 2p coins are worth exactly their face value, 2 pence. These coins were minted in enormous quantities when the UK switched to decimal currency in 1971, with hundreds of millions produced. Finding one in your chain jar or piggy bank is extremely common, not a path to becoming a billionaire overnight. However, there's a kernel of truth buried within the exaggeration. Certain 1971 2p coins can be worth more than face value to collectors, but we're talking about modest amounts, not millions. The coins that carry a premium are typically those in absolutely pristine, uncirculated condition, or those with specific minting errors. For example, a 1971 2p in perfect mint condition might fetch anywhere from £10 to £50 to a serious collector, depending on its exact grade and the current market. Coins with rare minting errors, such as double strikes, off-center strikes, or other production anomalies, might command higher prices, potentially reaching a few £100s in exceptional cases. But even the rarest error coins from this year are not remotely close to the million-dollar valuations being claimed. The new Pence inscription on a 1971 coin is actually completely standard and expected, not a mark of rarity. All 2p coins minted between 1971 and 1981 bear the words New Pence to distinguish them during the transition from the old pre-decimal currency system. It was only from 1982 onward that the inscription changed to 2 pence. So if you find a 1971 coin with New Pence on it, you've simply found an ordinary coin from the first year of decimal currency. What might add slight value is if you found a post-1982 coin mistakenly struck with the old New Pence inscription, which would be a genuine minting error. But even these don't approach anything near millions in value. The emotional appeal of these viral coin stories is understandable. We all dream of discovering hidden treasure in everyday places, of finding that one overlooked item that transforms our financial situation overnight. The narrative of an ordinary person stumbling upon extraordinary wealth through a simple coin is compelling and hopeful. Social media platforms and video content creators leverage these emotions because they know such stories generate massive engagement. People share them with friends and family, hoping to spread potentially life-changing information. Unfortunately, this creates a cycle where misinformation spreads rapidly, and millions of people end up checking their coin collections based on false hope rather than realistic expectations. If you genuinely want to assess whether any of your UK coins have collector value, there are legitimate ways to do so. First, examine the condition of the coin carefully. Collectors prize coins that show minimal wear, retain their original luster, and have sharp, clear details. Coins that have been in circulation typically show scratches, dulling, and wear on the highest points of the design, which significantly reduces collector value. Second, look for genuine errors using a magnifying glass. Things like doubling of letters or numbers, coins struck on the wrong metal, like a silver-colored 2p instead of bronze, or significant off-center strikes. Third, consult reputable sources, such as the Royal Mint's website, established coin dealer catalogs, or professional numismatic organizations. These sources provide realistic price guides based on actual market transactions, not sensationalized claims. The truth is that while coin collecting can be a rewarding hobby and certain rare coins do command impressive prices, the path to wealth through spare change is extraordinarily unlikely. The British coins that genuinely fetch high prices are typically much older, Victorian or Georgian era, made of precious metals like gold or silver, or are proof coins and special commemorative issues produced in very limited quantities. Modern decimal coins, especially those from the 1970s onward, were produced in such vast numbers that rarity is simply not a factor for standard strikes. The Royal Mint produced billions of these coins, and they're still readily available. Genuine numismatic treasures exist, but they're found through patient research, careful collecting, and often significant financial investment, not by randomly checking your spare change. Before you decide to hoard all your UK coins hoping for a fortune, consider the practical reality. If 1971 2p coins were truly worth millions, coin dealers, metal detectorists, and numismatists would have systematically removed every single one from circulation decades ago. The fact that these coins still regularly appear in everyday transactions is the clearest evidence that they're not valuable. Furthermore, if you try to sell a standard 1971 2p coin to any legitimate coin dealer claiming it's worth millions, they will politely inform you of its actual value, about 2 pence, perhaps slightly more if in perfect condition. No reputable auction house or dealer would entertain such valuations because they simply don't reflect market reality. The lesson here extends beyond just coins. In our digital age, sensational claims spread rapidly across social media, often presented with emotional language designed to trigger excitement, hope, or fear. When you encounter information promising life-changing wealth from everyday objects, approaching it with healthy skepticism serves you well. Check multiple reputable sources, consult experts in the field, and be wary of content that relies heavily on emotional manipulation rather than verifiable facts and evidence. Your 1971 2p coins are interesting historical artifacts marking Britain's transition to decimal currency, and they might have modest value to collectors if in exceptional condition, but they're not your ticket to becoming a billionaire. Sometimes the most valuable thing isn't the object itself, but the knowledge and critical thinking skills that prevent us from being misled by too-good-to-be-true claims. Coin number 2. The 1980 new pence 2p coin is not worth millions, and making such claims would be dishonest. Here's what's actually true about this coin, which you could use for genuine, credible content instead. The 1980 2p coin is actually less common than many other years in the new pence series, which makes it moderately interesting to collectors, but we're still talking about modest values. Approximately 408 million of these coins were minted, which is significantly fewer than the 1971 issue, but still an enormous quantity by numismatic standards. A circulated 1982p in average condition is worth its face value of 2 pence. An uncirculated example in pristine condition might fetch between £3 and £15 from a collector, depending on the grade and current demand. This is a far cry from millions, but it represents genuine information that serious collectors would actually find useful and trustworthy. What makes the 1980 coin somewhat noteworthy is that it was among the last years to bear the new pence inscription before the change to 2 pence in 1982. This transitional aspect gives it minor historical interest, particularly to collectors building complete date sets of British decimal coinage. Additionally, the 1980s saw various quality control issues at the Royal Mint, which means error coins from this period do occasionally surface. Genuine errors might include wrong metal strikes, significant die cracks, double strikes, or dramatic off-center impressions. Even the most spectacular error examples from 1980 typically sell for hundreds of pounds, not millions. A truly exceptional error in perfect condition might reach £500 to perhaps £2,000 to the right specialist collector, but these are extraordinarily rare occurrences. The mention of bicentennial in relation to a 1980 British coin is actually confusing and potentially misleading. Britain didn't celebrate the bicentennial in 1980. The American bicentennial was in 1976, commemorating 200 years since the Declaration of Independence, and the U.S. issued special quarters, half dollars, and dollar coins for that occasion. British coins don't carry bicentennial markings for 1980 because there was no relevant 200-year anniversary being commemorated. If someone is claiming a 1980 British 2p is a bicentennial coin, they're either confused about American coins, or they're deliberately mixing terminology to make an ordinary coin sound more exotic and valuable than it actually is. This kind of confusion is exactly why accurate information matters in numismatics. Understanding why these exaggerated valuations spread requires examining the economics of online content creation. Videos and posts claiming ordinary coins are worth millions generate enormous engagement because they tap into universal dreams of unexpected wealth and the thrill of treasure hunting. When someone watches a video saying their pocket change might be worth millions, they're likely to share it with family and friends, comment on it, and watch it repeatedly while checking their own coins. This drives up view counts, watch time, and engagement metrics, which directly translates to advertising revenue for content creators. The problem is that once viewers realize they've been misled, they lose trust not just in that specific creator, but in coin-related content generally. Building a sustainable channel requires providing genuine value and accurate information, even if individual videos might get fewer initial clicks than sensationalized content. If you're creating content about British decimal coinage, there are genuinely fascinating stories that don't require fabrication. For instance, the 1983 2p coin is actually scarcer than the 1980. With only about 158 million minted, and uncirculated examples can fetch £25 to £40. The 1992 2p is even more interesting, with just under 100 million produced, making uncirculated specimens worth £35 to £60 to serious collectors. Then there are the genuine error coins that occasionally appear, such as the rare 1983 2p coins mistakenly struck with the old new Pence inscription instead of 2 pence, which happened because old dies were accidentally used. These genuine errors can sell for £500 to £1,200 depending on condition and current market demand. These are real, verifiable values that collectors actually pay, and presenting this information accurately establishes you as a trustworthy source. The broader coin collecting community, known as numismatics, operates on principles of authenticity, provenance, and accurate grading. Professional organizations like the British Numismatic Society and reputable dealers follow strict ethical guidelines about how coins are described and valued. When you create content with wildly inflated values, you alienate serious collectors who might otherwise become loyal subscribers. These enthusiasts have decades of experience, access to auction records, and connections to dealers worldwide. They immediately recognize false information and will call it out in comments, potentially warning others away from your channel. Conversely, if you provide accurate, well-researched content about realistic values, errors to genuinely look for, and proper grading techniques, you build an audience of engaged collectors who trust your expertise in return for every new video you produce. Creating compelling content about coins doesn't require deception. You could explore the historical context of why certain years had lower mintages, explain the technical aspects of how minting errors occur and how to identify them with proper magnification. Compare British decimal coinage to similar transitions in other countries. Demonstrate proper coin photography and storage techniques. Interview actual coin dealers about market trends. Or document your own journey building a collection on a realistic budget. You could investigate which UK coins from various eras genuinely do command high prices and explain the specific factors that make them valuable, such as the 1933 penny, extremely rare, with perhaps only 7 known examples, valued at over £100,000, or Edward VIII coins that were never officially circulated. These approaches provide genuine value to viewers while maintaining your integrity and building long-term success for your channel based on trust and expertise rather than momentary clickbait that ultimately damages your reputation and misleads people who trust you with their time and attention. Coin number 3. One of the most talked about coins is the Elizabeth II New Pence era, particularly from the late 1970s and early 1980s. During this period, the Royal Mint transitioned from using the words new pence to simply pence, and this small change created some of the most valuable UK era coins ever discovered. The most famous example is the 1983 2 pence coin, mistakenly struck with the words new pence, even though that wording was officially discontinued in 1982. Only a handful of these coins are known to exist, and authenticated examples have sold for tens of thousands of dollars at auction, proving that a single word on a coin can define its destiny. The 1981 2 pence coin often enters these discussions because it belongs to the same transitional era, but its value depends entirely on rarity, condition, and errors. A standard 1981 2 pence coin is common, yet versions with unusual features, minting flaws, or uncirculated condition can still attract strong interest from collectors. What many people don't realize is that professional grading can multiply a coin's value dramatically. A coin that appears ordinary at first glance can become highly desirable once verified, preserved, and placed into historical context by experts who understand minting patterns and scarcity. Bicentennial themes and commemorative releases further fuel public fascination, even when they are misunderstood. In the UK, commemorative coins celebrating royal milestones, anniversaries, and national events often look similar to circulating coins, leading many people to overlook them. Some were produced in extremely limited quantities, especially proof versions or experimental strikes never intended for public circulation. These coins can command astonishing prices, not because they are old, but because they represent moments when history, error, and scarcity collided. That is where true value is born in the coin world. What makes rare UK coins genuinely powerful is not fantasy pricing, but documented auction history. Verified sales through reputable auction houses show Elizabeth II era coins selling for sums that rival annual salaries or exceed lifetime savings. While claims of $10 million valuations are unrealistic for circulating UK coins, the reality remains extraordinary. A coin worth a few pence can still be worth enough to change someone's future. This is why collectors emphasize verification over hype, because real value survives scrutiny. Emotionally, the appeal is undeniable. The thought that a small object, passed through countless hands, could suddenly reveal hidden worth taps into a universal hope. That opportunity might already be within reach. That is why people are urged not to spend unfamiliar coins casually. Once a rare coin leaves your possession, it may never return, and the loss may only be realized years later. Coins don't announce their value. They wait quietly until someone knowledgeable takes a closer look. If you have UK coins, especially from the 1970s and 1980s, the smartest move is not excitement or panic, but patience. Examine inscriptions carefully, compare dates, study spacing, lettering, and metal color, and most importantly, consult reliable references or professional numismatists. Many valuable coins were ignored for decades before their significance was recognized, and today's overlooked coin could become tomorrow's headline sale. So before dismissing that old tin of coins, that inherited collection, or the dusty jar at the back of a cupboard, remember this. Wealth doesn't always arrive loudly. Sometimes it waits silently in copper and bronze, carrying stories of royal history, minting mistakes, and forgotten transitions. While not every coin will make you rich, the right one, properly identified, can change everything. And that is why checking your UK coins is not just curiosity, it is awareness, knowledge, and the possibility of uncovering something extraordinary. Coin number 4. The story of Elizabeth II DG Reg. FD 1991 2-pence coin has exploded across social media, often framed as a once-in-a-lifetime object capable of turning ordinary people into overnight billionaires. The fascination is understandable. Any coin carrying the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II instantly connects personal memory with national history, and when words like rare, bicentennial, and millions of dollars are added, curiosity becomes irresistible. But to truly understand the value of this coin, we must step beyond viral headlines and into the real world of coin collecting, where rarity is defined not by hype, but by production history, minting errors, survival rates, and documented sales. The 1991 2-pence coin belongs to a period when the Royal Mint was producing vast quantities of circulating coinage, making most standard examples very common. Millions were struck, used daily, and are still found in circulation today. On its own, a normal 1991 2-pence coin is worth only its face value. However, what fuels the extraordinary stories is a possibility, however rare, of error strikes, experimental planchets, or undocumented variations. In numismatics, a single mistake at the mint can transform a mass-produced object into a collector's dream, and it is these anomalies that spark claims of unbelievable wealth. Claims of valuations reaching $16 million often stem from confusion with unique historical coins, prototype pieces, or misreported auction rumors. In reality, no verified UK 2-pence coin from 1991 has sold for anything close to that figure. Yet, this does not mean the coin should be ignored. Authentic UK-era coins, once dismissed as worthless, have sold for tens of thousands of dollars, and sometimes more, when proven genuine and graded by professional authorities. The difference between fantasy and fact lies in evidence, not imagination, and collectors who understand this distinction are the ones who truly profit. What makes people hesitate before spending their loose change is the knowledge that some of the world's most valuable coins were discovered by accident. Coins with incorrect inscriptions, off-metal strikes, double impressions, or alignment errors have slipped into circulation unnoticed. Years later, these same coins have appeared at auction, shocking even seasoned collectors. This is why experts advise against casually spending unusual coins. Once spent, the chance of recovery is almost zero, and the potential loss could be significant, even if it's not measured in millions. Emotion plays a powerful role in coin collecting. The idea that unimaginable wealth could be hiding in a piggy bank or drawer taps into hope, nostalgia, and possibility. Coins are intimate objects. They pass through hands, generations, and moments of history. The Elizabeth II era alone spans decades of political, cultural, and economic change, making even ordinary coins meaningful artifacts. When a coin bridges personal memory with national identity, its emotional value often fuels exaggerated financial expectations. But that same emotion is what draws new collectors into learning the truth. Real wealth in coin collecting is not built overnight, but through knowledge, patience, and verification. Anyone who believes they have a rare coin should resist the urge to sell immediately or trust unverified online valuations. Instead, careful examination, comparison with official Royal Mint records, and professional grading are essential steps. Many coins lose value instantly when proven common, while few gain legitimacy and worth once authenticated. The market rewards accuracy, not assumptions. Discoverability and engagement thrive on honesty. While it's thrilling to imagine a single coin changing your life forever, the real message viewers should take away is empowerment through awareness. Checking your UK coins is not foolish, it's informed curiosity. Understanding what makes a coin rare protects people from scams, disappointment, and misinformation, while still leaving room for genuine discovery. That balance is what keeps collectors engaged for life. So before you dismiss that 1991 2-pence coin, or any Elizabeth II coin in your possession, pause and look closely. Not every coin is a fortune, but every coin tells a story, and a very small number truly are extraordinary. The real treasure is not guaranteed wealth, but the knowledge to recognize value when it appears. And sometimes, that knowledge alone is worth far more than the coin itself. Coin number 5. The Elizabeth II DG Reg. FD 1988 2-pence coin has recently become the center of dramatic online claims, with videos and posts suggesting it could be worth almost $15 million and capable of transforming an ordinary person into a billionaire overnight. The sheer power of that idea is what makes people stop scrolling. A small copper coin, something most of us have spent without a second thought, suddenly becomes a symbol of hidden fortune. This emotional contrast between everyday object and unimaginable wealth is exactly why these stories spread so quickly and why it is essential to understand where fascination ends and real value begins. The year 1988 sits firmly within the modern circulating era of UK coinage, a time when the Royal Mint produced enormous quantities of coins for daily use. Millions of 2-pence coins dated 1988 were struck and released into circulation, making standard examples extremely common. Under normal circumstances, a typical 1988 2-pence coin is worth only its face value. However, in the world of numismatics, value is never determined by date alone. It is determined by rarity, and rarity is often born from mistakes, experimental strikes, or undocumented variations that escape the mint unnoticed. What fuels the million-dollar rumors is the reality that some of the most valuable coins in history were never meant to exist. Coins struck on the wrong metal, with missing or doubled inscriptions, incorrect edge alignment, or mismatched dies have become legendary among collectors. When such errors are unique or extremely scarce, they can sell for astonishing sums. While no verified 1988 2-pence coin has ever sold for millions, documented UK era coins in the Elizabeth II era have sold for prices that shocked even experts, proving that extraordinary value, while rare, is not impossible. The term bicentennial often adds to confusion. In the UK, bicentennial celebrations are not always explicitly marked on circulating coins, unlike in some other countries. This leads many people to assume significance where none officially exists. However, limited-run commemorative strikes, proofs, and trial pieces produced around historical milestones can exist outside public awareness. These coins usually never enter circulation, and when they do surface decades later, their value is driven by scarcity and historical documentation rather than public memory. Emotionally, the appeal of these stories is deeply human. The idea that wealth could be hiding in a jar of coins speaks to hope, luck, and the belief that opportunity does not always announce itself. Coins are intimate objects. They pass quietly from hand to hand through generations unnoticed. When viewers are told, "Don't spend your UK coins," it triggers urgency and curiosity, encouraging people to look more closely at objects they've ignored for years. That emotional hook is powerful, even when reality is more measured. In the real collector market, instant wealth is rare, but meaningful value is very real. Coins gain legitimacy through professional grading, metallurgical testing, and comparison with Royal Mint records. A coin that looks ordinary can become valuable once authenticated, while many hype coins lose all speculative value when examined properly. Knowledge is what protects collectors from scams and disappointment, and it is also what allows genuine discoveries to be recognized instead of dismissed. Audience engagement thrives when mystery is balanced with truth. Telling viewers that every 1988 2-pence coin is worth millions creates excitement, but it also destroys trust. Telling them that most are common, yet a tiny number of extraordinary anomalies exist, invites curiosity, learning, and long-term interest. This approach encourages viewers not just to check their coins, but understand them, and that understanding is what builds real credibility and retention. So before you casually spend that old 2-pence coin, pause. Not because it will definitely make you rich, but because history sometimes hides in plain sight. Check the details, the inscriptions, the metal, and the strike quality. Most coins will remain ordinary, but a few may tell a different story. True wealth in coin collecting is not guaranteed fortune, but informed awareness. And occasionally, that awareness leads to something extraordinary.